Assalamu alaikum viewers, Aleena here. I hope you enjoy watching Story Time with Aleena Chaudhary on ZMC TV. Today I'm going to read you Sami the Silkworm, written by Noor Kotlu. Thank you for sharing feedback for my other stories. I am a silkworm. We silkworms make silk that is used to make your clothes. First, our mothers lay their eggs on mulberry leaves. Later, we hatch from these eggs as baby silkworms. We eat mulberry leaves to grow healthy and strong. Soon, we become adult silkworms. As adults, we make silk using our mouths. We use this silk to knit cocoons. These cocoons become our homes. After some time, we come out of cocoons as butterflies flying happily. It was a sunny day and baby silkworms were hatching from their mother's eggs. They were hungry and were eating mulberry leaves. Almost all of the eggs hatched, but one of them didn't. Raindrop saw the egg. He waited and waited and waited for the last egg to hatch. "I can't wait any more," he said. He dropped near the egg and dripped a watery tap, tap, tap on the egg's shell. A little voice inside the egg answered him. "Who is it?" "It's me, Raindrop. Why don't you break your shell and come out?" The voice inside the egg complained. "My shell is too thick. I can't break it." "You can't stay in there forever," Raindrop said. "Do you want my help?" The little voice inside said, "Okay." Raindrop dripped onto the shell and made it soft. From inside the egg, Sami the silkworm broke open the shell. He looked around, but there was no one to see. "Hey, where are you? Thanks for your help," he called out, but Raindrop was gone. Sami slowly crawled on to the mulberry leaf. Other silkworms had already started to crawl up the mulberry tree branches. He called to them, "Hey guys, wait for me!" The other silkworms were so hasty that none of them heard him. Sami the silkworm tried to climb mulberry tree, but he couldn't do it. The wind saw Sami struggling. He whispered in Sami's ear, "Hey Sami, do you want my help?" Sami answered, "That would be very nice. I can't climb up mulberry tree. I need to eat those fresh mulberry leaves that are high above me." The wind pushed him, blowing whoosh. Sami started to move. At last, he climbed mulberry tree. He shouted happily, "Hooray! I reached the fresh mulberry leaves!" But again, there was no one there. Oh dear, I can't thank him either." Sami was confused. Sami didn't believe him. He said, "But the bite from eating your leaves will cut you." Mulberry tree comforted him. "Look up above you," he said. "My new leaves are growing. Eat them, please." Sami was very hungry. He couldn't wait any more. He ate them with a loud noise. Crunch! His brothers were very surprised by his question. "But if we don't go inside our cocoons, we can't become butterflies," they said. "We have to live inside them for a little while to become butterflies." Sami wrinkled his face. I had a problem hatching from my egg. Now I have to live inside this thing you call a cocoon, he said. The weaver heard the silkworm's conversation. I have to help that silkworm. If he doesn't make himself a cocoon, he will never become a butterfly, he said to himself. So weather made the air colder and colder and colder until, brrr! Sami shivered. It's so cold. I think I better knit a cocoon like my brothers. Now Sami had a new problem. Wait, he said. I don't know how to knit a cocoon. I wonder how my brothers did it. I should ask them. But all his brothers went inside their cocoons asleep. Sami ran right and left, but he couldn't find any silkworms. All of a sudden, something came from his mouth that was wet and sticky. As it came from his mouth, it turned into thread. The stuff began to pour from his mouth so fast that it spun him around. It spun him round and round and round. Finally, the spinning stopped and the thread was all around him. It froze into a shell. He looked and saw that he was inside a cocoon. Now he had a cocoon too. Sami stayed in the cocoon for many days and nights. Meanwhile, he thought deeply. Who sent Raindrop and Wind to help me? Who gave me these mulberry leaves to eat? How did this sticky thread come from my mouth to knit this cocoon? I should ask someone. Who is it that cares for me so much? While he was thinking, he fell asleep. He slept and slept and slept. Then he woke up feeling wet. Ah! What is this? He shouted. My cocoon is dirty. What will I do now? What Sami the silkworm didn't know was that he was sleeping. He sweated brown goo that made the cocoon soft. Oof! I can't stay in this cocoon anymore, he said. He burst out of the new soft cocoon. Then he saw a surprising thing. Wow! I have wings! How did that happen? He shouted. Hundreds of thousands of butterflies were flying around him. My brothers have wings like me, he said with delight. He started flying joyfully. He saw his reflection in a puddle of water while he was passing over it. How beautiful he was! Who makes us beautiful while we are in the cocoon? He wondered. An old butterfly who was passing by heard him. He answered Sami the butterfly's question. Allah makes us beautiful with his name, Ahrab. That answered all of Sami's questions. So the help of Raindrop, Wind, the fret coming from my mouth, the brown goo that made my cocoon soft, all together making me a butterfly? That was my Allah, who is my Rab, he said. He flew into the sky, thanking Allah 1,000 times. The end. I hope you enjoy my story. Thank you for watching and don't forget to subscribe ZMC TV.